What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, we are here on BettingPros.com. Always being brought to you by BetMGM, and the offer, which is always above me on YouTube, $10 bet to win $150 on any event. Use that promo code JUICE150 at BetMGM or BetMGM.com. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. You guys can follow BettingPros on Twitter at BettingProsNFL. All right, so at the time of taping, we got a 21-3 lead for Houston right now. I think they cover. I don't know if they cover. And then we've got two games going late, and I mean real late. We got Michigan laying 12.5 against UNLV at T-Mobile Arena. And then about a mile down the road, we've got UNLV catching 11.5 against San Diego State. So we got a couple of UNLV bets going here tonight in Vegas, and I thought, why not? I mean, it's in my city. It's happening here, so why not have some fun with it? So I have no idea what we did yesterday, although the Creighton Blue Jays, the over of that game should have hit against Brown, man. Missing front ends of 1-1. The over flew in the first half. First half overs for Creighton basketball are back. We hit on them a lot last year. We're back again here on this. So very cool stuff happening. By the way, today I have a lot going on. So I have 6 bets to give you guys today. We are going with 4 units in play here today on a Saturday, okay? I'm not going to be available to do very much here on Saturday. So what we'll do is the Discord chat, okay? And then we're going to, during the Discord bet, I'm going to have somebody pick a number. And I'm going to assign a number to all the players on the Daily Juice team. And whatever number that person picks, that's whose picks I'm going to use for the Daily Juice team. Okay, so one of our guys, we're not going to do a chat. Okay, the chat has not worked. Okay, the talking out the picks, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. It doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow one person to pick one number during the Discord chat coming up here this morning. We will do that. And then that person's number, the corresponding number, I will tell you at noon the picks, and I'll enter that person's picks in directly, whatever they send to me. I'll just have all the guys DM me their picks, and then I will pick one of them, or you guys will pick one of them during the Discord. We'll have one is this person, two is that person, and we'll take their picks, and their picks will be used for the Daily Juice circa million plays, okay? So just FYI on that. It's just one chat happening tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, because I have Crawford and Porter, the fight at T-Mobile Arena, and I am running around crazy today. So I don't know what we did last night in terms of a record, and it's going to be a very busy day here today, but I got a lot to get to on the podcast, so I want to go right into it, okay? So I talked about the Crawford and the Porter decision. I'm going to get right to that here, okay? This is an unbelievable fight. There's no other way around it, okay? This is an unbelievable fight, and I am so fired up to be going to watch Terence Crawford fight for the first time in forever. I was in Omaha for years when Crawford was coming up, and Bud Crawford, everybody talked about Bud Crawford. This guy's going to be amazing, and for my money, Bud Crawford is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the game, but you cannot sleep on Shawn Porter. I mean, this dude in Vegas, everyone knows Shawn Porter. He's everywhere. He talks to everyone. He has no fear. So there is no debate and no shock to me that Shawn Porter's the guy that says, yes, I will fight Bud Crawford, because nobody else wants to fight this dude. Like, nobody else has the guts to say, yes, I want to get into the ring and fight this dude. Shawn Porter is an absolute beast, okay? He is a really tough fighter, but most of his fights go to the distance. And I think he's a good enough fighter to keep himself upright for 12 rounds. I don't see this fight ending before the cards, but I also do not think Shawn Porter is going to be able to outbox Bud Crawford. I think this is going to be a highly entertaining 12-round fight. I think Bud Crawford comes away with the victory. I'm going to go Crawford by decision, mostly due to activity and mostly due to his ability to avoid any big damaging punches from Shawn Porter. I don't think Bud gets clipped. It's boxing. Anything can happen, but I just think Bud Crawford is a technical mastermind here and the better boxer, the better fighter, okay? He's not going to put himself into real harm's way. I think he'll go for a knockout if it's there. I just don't know if it's going to be there given the fact that we got to go back a ways for for Porter to get knocked out by anybody, okay? Like 2017, 18, or 16, like going back. Like this dude does not get stopped. So he's got a great chin, and I think this thing will go all the way to the cards. It's minus 115 at Circa Sports, half a unit. Bud Crawford by decision. He's minus 800 to win this fight, okay? So there's no value in betting Bud Crawford. It has to be by how does he win? Knockout's plus 150. I'm going to take the safer of the routes given where we are here in Bud Crawford's career. He doesn't need a knockout. He just needs to win the fight. And don't take the damage. Don't put yourself at risk. Outbox him. Win the fight. Go to the cards. Win the rounds. Win 8 rounds and you're good, okay? I'll take Bud Crawford minus 115 for a half a unit to win the fight on the cards. Now, if I'm wrong and Bud Crawford knocks out, and it could happen, Shawn Porter, I don't think Shawn Porter's winning this fight, okay? I really, really don't. I give him credit for being in the ring and taking the fight, but I don't think he's going to be. Bud Crawford just is incredible. It would stun me, and I'll lose 2 units, frankly. 1 unit full, 2 bets in 1 unit if it happens. Because the other half of the unit we're going to take is 1 at minus 800, Crawford to win. So if he knocks out and gets a W, okay, we're live here for this 2-leg parlay that I'm going to give you right here. Crawford wins by decision or knockout, first leg. Second leg, let's talk about Cupcake, Miesha Tate. I am a gigantic Miesha Tate fan. And one of the cool things about Miesha Tate is that she is coming back with such energy and such passion for the sport. Took time, had 2 kids, got married, got her personal life in order, and now she is nothing but a fighter. Like, she's a mother too, obviously, but like professionally, there's no distractions right now. She's all in here. And Ketlen Vieira, okay, there's a 5-year age difference here. They're both ranked in the top 10 in the division, in the bantamweight division. But Ketlen Vieira hasn't had a lot of fun with wrestlers and hasn't had much success if she's taken to the mat. And she's not great with takedown defense. I just think this is somebody who is going to have a tough time of it because I think Miesha Tate can hit her. I think if you look at strikes, Vieira, 3.84 strikes absorbed per minute. That's high for a female fighter. And we saw in Miesha Tate's last fight, she's got a boxing coach. She's got a right hand now where it's not just about wrestling and submissions. She's really good. Her ground and pound is really good. I just think the odds makers haven't really caught up yet to where Miesha Tate is. Main event, 5-round fight. I think Miesha Tate takes her into deep water. I don't know if she wins by submission, she wins on the cards, or she wins with a knockout and maybe some ground and pound. I think the variables are too much there, but you don't need it because Tate to win is minus 105 or even money. One of the two, all right? I'm going to take Miesha Tate to win her fight in the main event at this fight night here for UFC Fight Night. It's Ketlen Vieira, Miesha Tate, main event, 5 rounds. I'm taking Miesha to win here at minus 105, and I am parlaying that with Terence Crawford to win at minus 800. That is a plus 121 parlay for a half a unit. Tate, Crawford, 2-leg moneyline parlay at plus 121 for a half a unit. Okay, so that is the first unit in play. Okay, now let's go to football and let's talk a little bit about the Baylor Bears. Baylor is a football team that we rode recently. A couple weeks ago, we got on Baylor, and we liked what Baylor was doing. I am a fan of this Baylor team on the road against Kansas State. Now, last week, Baylor had their big letdown, right? They won the big game against Texas, and then they stubbed their toe. And they did not look good last week, and a lot of people were like, oh, they were overrated. They got a one little run here. They stubbed their toe against Texas Christian, and then they bounced right back, and they beat Oklahoma. Okay? They win by 13 points. Kansas State's won 3 games in a row. Kansas State has won by 17, 25, and 19 points. That's why K-State is favored here by 1 point. Baylor plus 1. Baylor on the year is 7-3. Kansas State 6-3-1. K-State 4-2 at home against the number. Baylor just 1-3 against the number. Not great. However, they need this game. This is a huge game for Baylor. I just think Baylor's the better team here. And I know when you start breaking down some of these numbers, K-State at home, you're going to go, all right, defensively, Kansas State just 20 points a game given up. Baylor's giving up 21 points a game, 28 points for Kansas State, 32 points for Baylor. The key, in my opinion, for this game, Baylor has got to throw the football, and Baylor's got to move the ball through the air. Running the ball on K-State's very difficult. They'll try to do it. 5.6 yards per rush is top 10 in the country. Baylor can really run the football, but they're going to have to use the run to then set up and get the passing game going. 8.3 yards per pass play, 207 yards per game, though. Not huge. K-State's giving up 233 yards per game. On the other side, Kansas State's going to run. Baylor's defense is very difficult to run against. Kansas State can throw the football, however. 8.8 yards per pass play, 18th best. I just think Baylor got it out of their system. I think Baylor's got a chance to do something special here. I like Baylor at +1 on the road here to get another big win. They're 8-2 on the year. Get to 9-2 on the year here. 2-2 straight up on the road. Let's get another win here for Baylor for 1 unit. Baylor +1 on the road for 1 unit. Second college football play, and I only have two. Going on. Let's talk about Nebraska and Wisconsin. Money move on Nebraska here. Went from 10 to 9.5. Once it dropped below 10, I jumped on this. Wisconsin 6-4. They have covered 4 straight games. 5 out of 6 games for Wisconsin. They have been an absolute wagon, and we haven't been on them, and that's a bummer. It's a bad move by me. They covered by 13.5 against Purdue, 17 points against Iowa, 36 points against Rutgers, and 2.5 points against Northwestern last week. 9.5 points, not a lot. Nebraska has lost 4 games in a row. We already cashed that bet for them to win less than 6.5 games. They're already there. They're not playing for much. They're going to Camp Randall, and this is when Bucky goes to work. Okay, I know Nebraska's defense is good. It's tough to run on these guys. But my goodness, they were catching 2.5 up against Michigan. They lost by 3. Laying 4.5 to Minnesota. They lost by 7. Laying 7.5 to Purdue. They lost by 5. These were as favorites. And then they're catching 14 points against Ohio State, and they played hard last week. And you might go, well, Matt, they're starting to play better. This is a team that might have an opportunity to, they know Scott Frost is coming back now. I just think Wisconsin is going to absolutely steamroll Nebraska here. I know there's injuries to the running in the backfield to Wisconsin that have some people a little bit concerned about their offense, and I don't like Graham Mertz all that much either. But I think this Wisconsin team is playing extremely well right now, and I don't like this Nebraska offense going up against this number 1 ranked rush defense for Wisconsin. 2.1 yards per rush. That's it. We know what happens when Nebraska is one-dimensional and it's all about throwing the football. They make mistakes. I know they've had big plays in the passing attack, but it's always set up by the running game. If they can't run and they're one-dimensional, Wisconsin pins their ears back and they get after it. I don't think this game is close. I'm going to lay the 1 unit. Wisconsin, -9.5 at home. They blow out Nebraska. They keep the train rolling for Bucky as they head towards the Big Ten championship game. Wisconsin, -9.5 for 1 unit. All right. 2 college basketball plays, and we're going to the Valley for both of them. All right. Let's talk about the Drake Bulldogs. Drake on the year. They have 1 game that qualifies here. They took on South Dakota, laying 16.5, and they won by 49. Second half, they just eviscerated South Dakota. Richmond has played North Carolina Central. They won by 10 as 26-point favorites. They played Utah State, 6.5-point favorites, lost by 11 on a neutral floor. And Georgia State, they were 7.5-point favorites. They won by 16. This game's in Des Moines at the Knapp Center, taking on for D-Rock's team, for Darren DeVries, and for Drake. They're laying 4.5 points. Man, do I like Drake here a lot to go in there and to get a big, big victory. It's early in the year, but Drake is a team that we rode last year. We're going to ride them again here. I don't think Richmond's very good defensively. I don't think they're a very good basketball team, to be quite honest. Give over 74 points per game. Drake's, averaging nearly 100 points a game because of what they've done in their first 2 games. But They're a veteran team. They know the system. They know what they want to do. And I just think this Richmond team is in for it. It's a short number. I'm laying the 4.5, half a unit. Drake minus 4.5 at home against Richmond. And for the other half a unit, staying in the Valley, it's the Battle of Chicago. Illinois, Chicago at Loyola, Chicago. The number is 19. Now, on the year, UIC, pretty good. 2-0 against the spread. Against Dayton, 14-point dogs, lost by 10 on the road. On the road at Valpo, 3-point dogs, won by 4, won outright. However, Loyola Chicago, we know, we've talked about the Ramblers. We were already on them one time. We were on them earlier in the year. We're going to be on them a lot this year. Okay? I like Loyola Chicago a lot. We've got them to win the Missouri Valley Conference. This is a game for the Battle of the City. The line's 19. They beat Coppin State by 58 points, covering by 27 points. They did not cover against Florida Gulf Coast. 18-point favorites. They won by 12. But they beat Chicago State by 36 points, laying 33. I expect a very similar final score here. I think you have a huge, I don't think Loyola lets up. I think they put up a big number. They win this game by 30. I'll take Loyola Chicago at home, minus 19 for a half a unit up against Illinois Chicago here coming up. That is a 4 o'clock Eastern time start, 3 o'clock start in Chicago. All right? So a big card. I'm all over the place today. I'm going to the Crawford Porter fight. Cannot wait to watch that fight here in Vegas. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. To recap the entire card again with 4 units in play, so I'm a bit more committed than I have been before. Oh, by the way, Dan Harris wanted me to mention my college football record is now 50-35. We are up 10 units in college football this year. It's pretty good. It's funny when I don't pay attention to this stuff. I was talking to Dan about this last night. I'm better when I don't pay attention to the record and I just keep my head down and I just go. And then I look up at the end of the year and I'm like, how'd we do? So, there we go. And that does include the future wagers. So we did very well in the future wagers. And again, I would say the best in the history of the Daily Juice. I would say the one category where I have done the best across the board in the 502 episodes of the Daily Juice would be futures. And the one thing we didn't do, maybe we got to do that going, in the future for year 3, maybe we do that we end up having the futures be broken out separately to kind of track what the futures look like. You see how I'm doing? Because we know what's happening in the NBA. We know we like what's going on with the Warriors, right? We like the NFL. We like what's going on in the NFL. We've done really well in college football futures. My top 2 hit with Ole Miss and UNLV. So that's great. And so, I like it. I like it a lot. So futures we've done pretty well. So again, the full card. Crawford by decision, half a unit, minus 115. 2-leg parlay. Crawford money line, Misha Tate money line, plus 121, half a unit. Baylor, plus 1 unit. Wisconsin, minus 9.5, 1 unit. Loyola Chicago, minus 19, half a unit. Drake, minus 4.5, half a unit. Those are the plays for a Saturday. I'll talk to you for the Discord bet. You guys got to get a bet right for me. Come on now. Tired of losing. Got to get a winner. Let's get something going here, guys. I'm leaving the board wide open for you guys. Michigan State, Ohio State, Alabama, Arkansas. Find a W. Guys, come on. 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Discord channel. The link's underneath me here on YouTube or bettingpros.com/chat to get in. My name's Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.